And we're off to the races, like I normally say. Guys, it's been such a great freaking show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Kidding. I'm super I'm excited, beyond excited, just unbelievably blown away. Because of, I have this superstar. I mean, this recording artist is off the charts. Like, truly, I mean, I've honest to God, I've interviewed several rock stars in my time, but never like the rock star I'm about to present to you guys. I mean, this gentleman is done it all. He's toured the world. He's been in boy bands. He's been in like freaking awesome music videos, rock music videos at that. And we just found out we're related. He's gonna be inducted to the American Entertainment Hall of Fame. Please, guys, it is my greatest honor to introduce my good friend and most likely cousin, Ricky Rebel. Holy mother of God, give it up. Woo! As I live and breathe, my man.
Thank you.
How the fuck are you?
I'm doing great, fellow cousin.
So let's demystify this thing, you know?
Yeah.
We just found out, because your last name is Felix, right?
Middle name. Okay,
so my dad's Felix also. And then my dad's, my grandmother was Maria Felix's cousin. And it turns out
I'm related to Maria Felix
as well.
Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. This is happening in real time. this is so freaking
so bizarre.
Like, so bizarre. It's surreal. I'm like literally gonna pinch my skin, bro.
Yeah.
Ricky, I mean, dude, like how was the
people,
track?
People don't know how famous Maria Felix is too. She's considered one of the most famous Mexican
icons of the silver
world.
screen.
She's like Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah. And Elizabeth Taylor all rolled into one.
Yeah.
Beautiful. She's beautiful, needless
Absolutely
to say.
beautiful.
I mean, just gorgeous. Anytime you go to a Mexican restaurant where you know you'll see an enshrine of like Mexican superstars, you always see that fine eyebrow that sticks out and that beautiful face that's really long and very Mexican Spaniard, if you will. So it's bold to say, but she's like one of the greatest and by far and arguably the prettiest of the Mexican cinema, Mexico, and we're related to her.
We are.
And we're here in the flesh.
She's in our blood.
She lives. We embody her literally. Yes. Elegance, style, charisma, personified. Ricky Rebel.
Thank you.
Holy moly! And I want to just give a quick shout out to our good friend Juan Le Prince, who's made this possible for us to just come here and like come together, bro. And it's like synergies happening right before our eyes. And obviously our great producer C, who she knows what's up. I care a lot about her. She makes this happen magically day in, day out, or week in, week out. In my case, dude. So where do we start? Upland, California.
Upland, let's start where I grew up.
That's where you grew up. Dude, that's like the skateboard capital of the world. Yeah. That's where like the pipeline was.
Yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, it's
that's cool.
And you said you had you when you were a kid, you just casually would go there and skate, right? And hang out and
I used to go to Bullwinkle and golf and do a little putt-putt and do the race cars and whatnot. And
is that place still there?
Games. I don't think so.
No, it's been it's all these obviously institutions of sorts, you know, that we grew up with. It's sad, kind of like it's like a dying art, you know. A lot of these places they close and then they uproot or erect, you know, a freaking building, you know, and stuff, but it's never like you can never tell your I guess like your kids, oh, I used to go here because it's now like a 7-Eleven. Oh, no shit, I do too, that.
right. I think after the pandemic, maybe something happened to it. It's kind of sad, but
it's truly sad. And
it was a fun place though. Yeah, to hang out.
Yeah, and what did you think? I mean, the trees are just breathtaking.
You have
beautiful tree line in Upland, California.
Oh, it's a beautiful place to grow up for sure.
Beautiful.
It's
very affluent.
Yeah, it was, especially when I grew up there, it was, clean and quiet and
quaint.
Yeah, that's a good word for it. Yeah.
Wow, it's beautiful.
I love growing up there.
And your folks, who are my relatives, who we're going to get to probably meet sometime soon.
Yeah.
What were they like? Were they supportive of you, like early on when you're jazz? Because you did the ballet. You were involved in music from early on, right?
Gymnastics.
Yeah. Wow.
I was like a competing gymnast, and I placed like 13th
15?
in the state of California. And
you were 11 years old.
Yeah, I was just 11, and my parents used to take me to meets and everything, and it was a very stressful thing, gymnastics. I would like get really nervous.
Right.
So they decided to put me into dance class and ballet class to kind of get over those nerves, and and I ended up loving performing, dancing
from early
much
on.
more. It was much more fun for me to do that because I wasn't like evaluated for every single thing I did.
Right.
Yeah, so my parents have always been very supportive.
That's cool. It's very important to have a support system, you know, like that's always there for everything, and specifically when they push you in the way that you want to go musically in this case. But any artistic, or even if you decide to go down the path of being an astronaut, I mean, sky's really the limit, no pun intended. You know, where you can go. I mean, you can shoot for the stars, you know, or shoot for the moon, land among the stars, they say.
Yeah, we need that.
In your case, you actually catapulted to the stratosphere. I mean, you're a part of like
history.
You're cemented to history, man. Like in the musical sense. I mean, the 2000s, late 90s. Let's talk about you're part of No Authority,
right?
Like holy shit, it's a boy band.
Yeah,
and these things were blowing up. I mean, you guys were all over the world. Tell me, what was that like, man?
You know, we're getting back together again, right?
What?
I'm putting us together again.
The reunion is happening, guys.
Yeah.
Right before your eyes here at Almost Famous Radio Podcast. It's unreal.
I recently had Eric Stretch, one of the members, come over to my house, and I recorded him for the live shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these songs are high, so it's pretty intense. But he came in the studio. He knew all his parts. He laid it down like nothing. And Tommy McCarthy is really excited. He's been wanting us to get together for a long time. And even Danny Zavatsky is going to be a part of it as well. Wow. He was the one we were kind of like, I don't know if he's going to do it, but he's like, yeah, let's do this. So we're working on it right now.
Really? As we speak right now, like you were already having like these talks and stuff just before you got here, or did it just happen like on the way? Hey guys, get the band together.
No, like literally at the end of last year, we had like a Zoom call together, and then People Magazine like wrote us up and everything, and they're so excited. It's just I got to get my butt in the studio and record my parts. And
I'm thrilled for you, bro. I'm thrilled.
I'm not nervous about the dancing, but like the singing is definitely challenging because we were a lot younger back then. So our voices change and whatnot, but it's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's great because you sort of like, you kind of take away, like you kind of go away and you carve your own pathway now as a solo artist and your band, Ricky Rebel, right?
Yeah.
And then you've toured with Britney Spears. Holy cow, you toured with so many great people. But what is it like? You're in a boy band, and then you decide, all right, like I'm gonna step out to do it on my own,
right?
Because you're the vocalist to the band,
one of the vocalists, one of the main.
So what is that like when you decide, okay, I'm gonna step out from my comfort zone, so to speak, and now I'm gonna go into the unknown?
Well, at that point, I really had no choice. There was like complications with the label and our management. They kind of butt heads, and that ended. So I kind of had to go back to square one and figure out like who am I? Where am I?
The why.
Yeah, why am I? And because I was used to Ronnie Jerkins or people like big producers like that producing for us, and then finally I got the chance to make my own music.
Yes.
So I learned Pro Tools. I picked up the guitar and started just kind of making the kind of music that I've always wanted to make because I really looked up to solo artists like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, Bowie, people like that. So I decided to make my own version of myself.
Yes.
But certainly back then it was more of like I wanted to do something like them, but now I've come to the point where I'm like, no, I want to do something more like me now. So it's more like because I'm not trying to be them. Thank God anymore.
And it's like it's like you got parts of all these people for sure. I see it in your performance, and I was looking at some of it. I was like, wow, you definitely you channel like David Bowie in many respects, who's my all-time favorite. What's your favorite song?
Moon Age Daydream.
I like the Modern Love, and I was so enamored.
I also love Low. I love Low. The album Low.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great one, man.
It's a great one.
It's a great one.
So underrated.
Yeah.
And I discovered Bowie kind of late in my career. I was doing like a rock band called Harlow. This producer.
Love it, Harlow.
Harlow's pretty cool. I was Ricky Harlow back then. And this producer came up to me and he's like, you need to research David Bowie because I know you love Madonna. I know you love Michael and Prince, but you got to really look up David Bowie. And that's when I discovered the Reality album. Remember the Reality? Yeah. That album is like, for me, one of my favorites just because that's where I discovered
emblematic.
That a rock singer doesn't have to scream in order to do their craft. A lot of rock singers scream and they have that scratchy, growly.
They lose their voice.
And they lose their voice. And they're always singing like the highest notes humanly possible, which is so out of my range.
Right.
Like, Queen, for instance, I love Freddie, but I'm like, I can't relate to him at all. But Bowie, like his vocals, I can definitely, it's in my range. So.
Yeah, there's truth to that, man, for sure. Like I find that you're right. Like, you start peeling back some of the layers to, we start sort of pulling apart or picking apart rather some of these artists. You realize that, holy cow, like the range, and some of them, a lot of them were, truth be told, it was like a cookie cutter thing, like Aerosmith. They all kind of sound the same. Vince Neil, not knocking them. I'm a huge, heavy metal rocker. I grew up on metal. My uncle was one of my mom's cousins was into the Beatles, and he wanted to be the fifth Beatle. He swore there's actually already a fifth Beatle. You may have wanted to be the sixth Beatle, but at any rate, I grew up with some of that, and then some of the voices, like, they all sound the same. If you hear one, you hear them all, and it's like kind of thing, and I give them respect where respect is due,
Absolutely,
but the props, but definitely, I like, it's very refreshing, to hear this, to tell you the truth. And when I start like thinking about all these artists, there are those like David Bowie that standalone outliers, if you will, and music, and I essentially really, I love that. What you just finished saying is so true. Madonna, let's talk about MJ. So you guys were signed at some point by MJ, is that right?
Yeah, we were discovered by Michael Jackson.
Okay. You were discovered by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Just like that, just
no
casually.
Authority.
I was discovered by Michael Jackson. No shit.
Yeah. Well, at first, when an A&R representative came to us, we were in the studio. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna give your demo to Michael." At Sony, and we're like, okay, Michael Rosenblatt,
Rosenbaum.
so many different Michaels in the industry. We're like, okay, that's fine, give it to Michael. And he's like, Michael loves it, and he wants to come and meet you guys. And we're like, okay, cool. You're gonna meet Jerry Greenberg, the president, as well. And
you're like,
and then they're like, Michael Jackson is gonna, Mr. Jackson said he wanted a what?
Yeah. Mr. Jackson, do you hear that? Michael Jackson.
Are you kidding me right now? Michael Jackson? Yeah. And that's when we found out they were keeping that secret from us because they didn't want to freak us out. Because it would have freaked us out. But
I mean, in more ways than one, right?
It was just everything that I've ever wanted as a kid. Yeah. Talk about manifestation. Yeah. Because I obsess completely over Michael.
Did you have the little zipper jackets and stuff when you were a kid?
I wasn't as obsessed with him as I was with her. With her, she is my queen of all queens. Like I know every single thing humanly possible about her, but he was like a very close second. So it was
and what did you have to do with Madonna also?
What did we have to do?
With Madonna. Did you guys have
to get her attention to sign us?
Yeah.
Well, she ended up taking us from the label. Her label bought us out.
Wow.
To put us on
it's
tour.
All business, man. It's all the lawyers.
It was a big deal at the time. Yeah, it was like $1 million deal or whatever. And I remember the PR agent calling me.
Yeah.
And saying like, Ricky, I have a secret to tell you. Don't tell anyone. Yeah. But Madonna wants to sign you guys. I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
That's like
this is ridiculous. Yeah, because at the time they were shelving our record. We had an album that wasn't released yet.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And I got so nervous to sing for those people, for the president, because I wanted to be signed by her so badly. Because they were going to put us on tour with Britney Spears.
Oh, right.
And they ended up doing that.
So just all the stars were aligned for you guys, for you.
Yeah. It just seems like everything I wanted as a kid came. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but
because it's never easy.
It was just, I don't know. As a kid, things are I don't know. It's easier because you're not as like aware of what can go wrong.
Yeah.
As we get older, we start to figure out like, oh my God, there's like a million things that can go wrong in this situation. And I kind of don't want to step in that trap, that bear trap. It really hurts when that happens. So you end up walking a little more cautiously.
Sure.
But as a kid, you're just like,
you're a free thinker.
Let's just do this.
You know, you're just a free thinker. It's like
you
no
It's
inhibitions. It's all about having fun.
But you know, I've always been a serious kid as well. So there's that
with the books,
competitive, serious. So I've had to learn also to be patient with myself and be kinder to myself and kind of let that side of myself relax a little bit.
So, I mean, there's so much we could go down different rabbit holes. I wanted to ask you, I'm still giddy about Madonna and MJ. Like, holy shit. Okay, so
I am too.
So I met Prince before he died here at the Beverly Hills hotel, but just briefly. But I never got to like. I met Tito Jackson, God rest his soul. I got to meet a few times. I met some of the Jacksons, but not Michael Jackson, dude.
You never got to meet Michael.
No. So what was his mentorship like, and what was like the first meeting?
Well, the first time we met was Michael had like a release party set up for us to release our first single called Don't Stop.
Wow.
And so he invited everyone from the radio station. Like we had this big, like we were blowing up on this one radio station that was like a pretty big next to 102.7 and ended up going under like right when the record came out. And I was like so pissed because we were like number one on this radio station. Right. And so he invited a whole bunch of
radio
fans and stuff to come and watch us perform, but he did not come out that day because he didn't want to steal attention from us. But
steal the thunder from you guys.
But he ended up calling me, and I ended up befriending a girl who lived on the ranch, and she became my girlfriend, and it's a whole story.
Oh, I want to hear all about that.
All right, guys. So she would invite me to come and hang out at Neverland Ranch, and so I would go every now and then.
You were hanging out at Neverland Ranch. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I would get to play with all the animals, and I got to meet Michael for the first time, and go on the little 4-wheelers and whatnot. And
did you meet Brando? So
fun.
Marlon Brando?
No.
Do you meet his security guard was Marlon Brando's son? I believe Brando was sometimes there.
Really?
Nico Brando.
I don't know. That kind of rings a bell. Brando? Honestly,
I don't know. I think I'm like drawing blanks, but it's one of the Brando kids was part of his security detail. It's a true story, dude.
Okay,
so that's how I just thought. What about to meet like Corey Feldman? I'm sure you met him along the way as
I've
an
met him
artist,
along the way, but not there.
Right.
I did meet Michael's children.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow, it's such beautiful stories, man. I mean, like just the idea that you were at Neverland Ranch is pretty like in and of itself. It's otherworldly, you know. It's crazy. And let's talk about so you meet Madonna.
Yeah.
Let's go with Madonna now.
Yeah.
Because, and that
my hero.
Is she everything you dreamt she would be and more? What was the impression like? The first impression, anyway.
She was mean. So perfectly exactly the way I thought she would be. Yeah. It was like in a room like this, and I remember her on the phone, and I just my mom told me not to go. My mom was terrified that because we were both in the same recording studio.
Okay.
And Ronnie Jerkins calls me up and he tells me, Ricky, you got to come down here. I'm not going to tell you why, but you have to come right now. And because he knew how much I loved her, and she was in a studio and like on the phone yelling at someone, and I really wanted to see Madonna. So I walked by, and there she was, and she gave me the worst look any human being
beautifully
stepped up and slammed the door.
Just crass and fucking brash, like you would imagine.
New York, just straight up New York.
Yeah.
And I've seen that face before.
Sure.
And that face was my dance teacher, Marguerite Derricks, who's like one of the biggest choreographers on the planet now.
She rocks because you rock and the way you dance, bro. Like anything to do with your moves.
Did.
Yeah, man.
She had a lot to do with my musical education as well.
Oh wow.
Because she was a purple hippie. So she played a ton of Prince and Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye.
I love it. Yeah.
So I owe a lot of my music education to her. Yeah.
Just say all the greats. Wow.
All the greats. We danced to all of them, and I think that has really influenced my music,
and also your musical taste and your way of how you approach music. So I'm hearing you out, and like I meant to tell you, cuz I can call you cousin now.
Yeah, cuz
I meant to tell you. I meant to tell you how crazy this is. So a good buddy of mine, back in the day, was a former. He was in a boy band. I was wondering if you knew James Dallas. He was in Youngstown.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I know him very well.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
married.
He's married to my other friend.
Get out of town.
Yeah.
Wow. So I hope he sees this, because I just want to say, hey, James, I know you remember me. We had some great times hanging out. And
shout
whatnot.
out to Twinkle. Twinkle Time friends. I love her.
This is cool, man. Is he still in LA, or they live in LA, or not anymore?
I think they do. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they do.
Cool. Rad. It's another great
I love
boy
them
band.
both.
Yeah. So it was O-Town. It was
I've toured with
No
O-Town.
Authority, and then it was Youngstown. And that's kind of, and then
90 Degrees. We're good friends with.
Okay.
These are the people I want to go on tour with eventually.
All right.
And do some dates with them
Sure.
with No Authority.
And this is fantastic. So like, you've traveled Europe extensively. I'm sure you traveled part of the world, if not the entire world.
Parts of it.
Parts of it. A good part of the. What was that like? Was it like crazy? It was like getting up every morning and we're on to the next thing. Now we're going to do press. Then we're going to do radio. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm a Sagittarian, so I love to travel, and I love new places, new faces, new food, new energy, whatever it is.
All about the energy. I love it.
Yeah, I love newness, so I thrive in that type of environment.
Right.
So it was the best of times and the worst of times.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
All right.
Because when you get sick, it's definitely a horrible experience.
Plus, you're homesick too. You wish you kind of would be home with your family.
I don't wish that. No. When I'm working, I want to work forever. Like I really do. It's really that simple, and it's really that like honest.
Wow.
Like I want to.
You're slave to this, and I love it.
I want to work forever. Like I want to tour forever. I want that life.
Sure.
I love it. And you come home and they're there. You love them, and you just gotta
So what's it like when you go
It's more
places?
sad when it stops.
Yeah.
That's the depression.
Right.
That's when you need a therapist.
Yeah. You gotta shrink. So that's why you're not stopping. You have never stopped.
No, that's why I'm obsessed.
It's pretty, man.
Everything about it is kind of addicting in the sense like making music is pretty addicting in and of itself.
Right.
It's an addicting
So how do you?
process.
I would see now that you do, you've been on your own for a long time, and so like, what inspires you to write? What's your writing process like? Give us a glimpse into your writing process.
I'm doing so much right now. So much music is being made for me and for other people. Now I'm really giving my music away now to other people. Yeah. I used to kind of like, oh, it's mine. Yeah. Now I'm like, no, I want everyone to.
Yeah. We want the world to embrace Ricky's
sound. Yeah. My sound. It's more than just my voice, or it's more than just, it's actually my production, you know, it's pretty unique. And
I thought what was ballsy and really fucking cool, dude, I'm going to tell you like right up front, was you wearing Trump gear, Trump drip at the Grammys with Joy Villa, I think was the other chick. Like she's so rad,
friend.
bro. She's your I thought that was
Do you
rad
love her?
Because
Yeah.
She has like kind of like she donned the fro or something. She's like is she Puerto Rican or Mexican? She's like,
what is she? I don't know.
Blaxican probably or something.
She's something.
She's fantastic.
She's yummy.
Yeah, she's cool.
She's a great friend.
Yeah. I love that you guys are just like I mean, this is. Dude, were you not afraid that you had a target on your back?
Oh yeah, I was really scared. I had something on my refrigerator that really kind of inspired me. I wrote on the wall, you're not going to get anywhere playing it safe.
Right.
So at that point, I really wanted to, express myself. I kept having a loop of Madonna's like, express yourself, don't repress yourself. Well, not that song, the Human Nature one. She says, I'm not your bitch, don't hang your shit on me. That's really my theme song.
Yeah.
If I were to die, or like, you should play that at my funeral. Because that's basically, what the message was. Yeah. For me, it was just, I was kind of wanting to express myself and kind of felt like I was being put in the closet again, like I had when I was a kid in the boy band and all that stuff, for being in the closet for a different reason.
Right.
So yes, I was very scared. And yes, I got like death threats and all kinds of crazy amounts of attention. Yeah. Like apparently I was like the fourth most
trendy, bro.
Googled person, Latin man or Latin person on the planet during 2019 when I did that.
Right.
And my only thing about it all is like, you know, politics is really divisive, and I had to learn the hard way how divisive it really is, and how incredibly personal people take things. And I realize now, I'm like, it's not really my place to be a part of that world. Like my place is more in entertainment and fashion.
And we're unifying people.
And making people happy through music, art, and fashion. But I had to learn the hard way because Sagittarians, we have to do that. Like we have to get, I mean, and don't get me wrong, like it was one of the greatest, I met some of the greatest people in my life.
Yeah.
Including
Did you meet Trump?
Don Jr.
Okay, Don Jr.
And
what is that guy like, man, in real life? Like, is he like just the way he looks? And
he's fun. Yeah. He's a lot of fun. He loves me.
Okay.
He calls me out like on stage. He's like, that's Ricky, so cool. Rebel's here.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. I mean, I just wanted the world to know that Republicans, not all of them are like these monsters. That's all. And I just wanted the left to kind of.
Well, everybody got polarized.
And I also wanted the right to be like, hey, like be nicer to people who are, you know, different than you.
I think we got to be nice to everybody.
I think that's
what
the goal.
I love about your music. Your goal is to unify people, and I like where you're at, man. For real.
I'm in a really good place because I don't care about politics anymore. I care about the people. I care about the music. I really do. But like I said, I had to go through.
And
we're
related, that. So
and we're
all about freaking helping people.
You know what I'm about. You know what I'm about.
Absolutely.
I've always been about that, and that's what hurt me the most is that people thinking that my intentions were
doesn't come from a bad place,
cruel or fake. That's the worst one. You know, being called a grifter. I'm like, no, I'm not a grifter. I'm not.
Far from it.
Yeah.
Far from it.
But I'm such a different person than I was back then.
Right. Yeah, well, we evolved, right?
It feels like
we evolve.
Another human being.
So do you get hit up on the street? Like, when people ask you for your autograph, are there like still people that question you? Like, hey, dude, are you still a MAGA or like Trump supporter or whatever?
Yeah. People do ask me that occasionally.
Yeah.
And my response is usually like, I have a new record out.
Yeah.
Check out my new album.
I love it. Put it here, dude. That's funny. I got a new record out.
Yeah. Check out my music.
Yeah, check out my music, dude. That's like most important. We're unifying people these days. Like, that's what's about.
Yeah.
I love, you know, just hanging out here. Obviously, we have just great like freaking energy, synergy.
Yeah.
And
you're cool.
Just good dynamic and stuff. And we're serious about the relation, which is crazy. We are really related, which is really wild.
I know, Felix.
It's so nuts when you said that. I asked you about the last name.
It was the last question you asked me before we went live. He's like, "Are you Felix? Are you?"
Yeah,
I'm Richard Felix Godinez. Yeah,
that's pretty rad. And I love that. You know, you're like a Latino. You know, artist that's been doing some great things over the years.
We're meant to have this interview. You know that, right? I'm feeling like my grandfather in the room right now, actually.
Yeah.
And my grandmother, Felix.
Yeah.
Because they're the loving side of my family, the Felix side.
Absolutely.
Godinez side is much more competitive, and they're very strong athletically. Like they're the football players. They're like the
more
super
brute,
competitive.
Like, it's
Athens versus Greece. You know what I mean? Athens.
I like that comparison. I like
Spartans versus
Spartans.
Yeah, I have like the Spartan side of me, and then I have the other side, and they were, you know, the Felix side is more sentimental,
right, more in tune,
loving, and but also they get fiery. We get
of course, you know we do.
We have fire.
We do fire under our feet, man. That's what we do.
My grandfather was a very big you know, advocate, or he was like a advocate for his rights as well, which I find myself to be like that too. I want to fight for the rights of basically for people, mostly to have the freedom of speech.
Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite, most important things in life is like, please just
stand up and
let people
self-advocate,
talk,
right?
even if they talk wild and crazy, you know, because then we know where they stand.
Right. Because if you stand for something or you fall for anything, as they say. Yeah. That's so true. I really I echo exactly what you're saying, because I believe that we need to, for sure, you have to be having a mouthpiece, advocate for those that might not be able to advocate for themselves, you know, children, those with special needs, and for babies, people to come out of their shell and just be who you are, embrace who you are, and stand up. And if you're gay, come out and say you're gay. Be loud and proud. If you you know, if whatever's happening in your life, you know, you got to own it. And you know, I love that.
Try your best to be yourself. That's hard to do.
It's tough. It's tough.
Very
sometimes.
difficult.
Did you
but possible?
Do you find? Did you find, like, for example, what are the challenges in the music industry? Because I know, like, for some artists, more specifically, we're talking in regards to boy bands for this matter. You know, a lot of the boy bands had to crank out album after album, and it almost, I don't know that it takes the essence out of like a record, but you're no longer, or how creative can you get is my question. I guess I'm trying to see get out of you. How creative can one get, you know, to be able to put out an album as a collective that you know, where it's not going to get any pushback from the suits, you know, from the higher ups, for the people that own the conglomerates, that own the record label that you work for.
Back then, you know, when we were signed to the record labels, like right now I'm an independent artist. Right. I have my own record label. I manufacture my own music and distribute it myself. Say it with some conviction. Ricky Rebel Entertainment, baby. And I'm releasing records off of that label. Okay. But before that, you know, the labels like Warner Brothers and Sony, and we were on Maverick as well. Like they tell the artists what to sing and what to, you know, perform and what to do. And we had a little bit of like, hey, here are some songs that we're submitting, and they would like take them into consideration, and they ended up picking one. Okay. You know, out of the many that we sent, that Tommy and I worked on. Yeah. But so we're like a workhorse. It's a factory. It's definitely like a factory. But there's kind of like that's kind of cool sometimes for people who are more into that kind of artistry, where they're not necessarily writers, right? Or they're not necessarily, they tend to be more vocalists. That's great for the vocalists, for instance. They just throw you the song. They throw you the song and you karaoke it. I unfortunately am not. I cannot be that kind of person. I have this. If I don't feel the lyric, it's really bad, because I can't fake the funk. It's really hard for me. My mom used to be like, my mom would be like, why aren't you feeling this song? I'm like, she's not feeling the words. I'm like, because I didn't write it, and I have nothing. I have nothing inside of it that's me. It's almost hollow. It's like it's not, you know, full of what you want. You know, like that it comes from in here, from your soul. You know, from your soul. Yeah. But I think a lot of singers can do that, and a lot, just like being an actor, you know, they're getting a script and they read the script and they become the little role or whatever. You lent your voice to, real quick, to one of Tom Hanks' films, Apollo 13, is that right? Yeah. What was that like? That was great. Cool. That was a great time in my life. Pretty early on in my career, I was in 90s? This group of people, like this group where they would cast us for like different movies to sing on, Apollo 13, and I got to do the soundtrack for like Anastasia, Annie, and like you're in like this whole like big studio, and you hear like the instrument. I had to learn how to read music and whatnot. That's phenomenal, man. It was a lot of fun. Sounds like it. You also you were also in a commercial or something, Coca-Cola commercial with like Aretha Franklin, no less. Like, Pepsi. Yeah. Did you get to like hang out at some Aretha Franklin time? Yeah, I she was on set, and so was that little cute girl, if you guys remember. Like, what was her name? Carly or whatever. But yeah, she was in there, and it was a great, wonderful choreographer who also did Vince Peterson, I believe. He did the Madonna Blonde Ambition tour, and he like asked for me, and like he called the agency and said, I need the black haired boy. The black haired boy. And they're like, who are you talking? Like, you know, the black haired boy, Dance for Marguerite. Oh, Ricky. And then they had me come in and dance, and it was like really hard choreography. Yeah.
I bet, dude.
And at one point, the director, he produced a lot of things for Michael Jackson too. He did like the Michael Jackson. He like notorious for being like the meanest director of all time for Pepsi commercials.
No fun, huh?
Oh, he was screaming at people if they didn't hold the can right. So he screamed with this girl because she was holding the can wrong. Get the F off my set. Da da da. And everyone's like, oh my God. And he's like, bring this boy in. He's going to hold the can. And it was me. And I was like, oh my gosh. If I don't hold this can perfectly, he's
get saucy.
Gonna scream at me. So like I had the can. I'm like shaking a little bit. And he's like, so you got any tattoos? You got piercings down there? Your girlfriend liked your piercing, huh? Yeah, I bet. Hold the can right. I'm like, oh my God.
So diabolical considering you're a child. Right? You're
I was
younger.
a kid. I was like, maybe, was I guess I was over 18, maybe. Who knows?
Hey, so it's funny because like you get to see the end product, but nobody really sees a grueling kind of the hard work that goes in, behind the sets. I'm, by the way, I'm motioning to our good friend Juan Le Prince, who's sipping on something. I don't know, what are you drinking over there, Juan? Water. That's what he says. That's what everybody says. It's water. No, it is water. So if you see me kind of, looking off to the side, it's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not talking to myself, guys.
Yeah, he's our audience.
We have a live audience for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
It's Juan Le Prince, who's fantastic and so gracious. He came out with you to hang out with my cousin, I guess. We're related. Cousins. Wow.
So good.
It's
and
rad.
I feel the Felix energy from you, by the way. I really do.
So I want to ask you, because there's so much to cover. So you're going to come back for part 2. We're going to do 2 parts to this. We'll try to figure out when, depending on when you could clear your whole calendar. Who knows for next time we can come out. Yeah. But I'd like to talk about, real quick, Lou Pearlman.
Right.
The name sounds familiar, right? The guy's just considered like he defrauded people, boy bands. It depends on which side you're on, right? But I wanted to talk to you. Did you cross paths with him at any time? Was he relevant during your time, or? Well,
he was very relevant. What it was, like, a lot of boy bands came from Florida.
Okay.
And that was like Lou Pearlman's like camp. Right. He was just making them like crazy.
Just cranking them out. Nobody's business.
And in LA, we were like, No Authority was like, we were the kings of LA when it came to boy band. I mean, you could look it up. I think we were the most popular boy band in LA, period. Because Lou Pearlman had a lot of money he was putting into his boy bands because he owned an airline. Yeah.
It's fucking
weird. He was putting in, because I would like complain to my manager. I'm like, I want a Max Martin single. Why can't we? I was such a brat. Why can't we have a Max Martin single? He's like, well, do you got $1 million? Because that's what he's asking for. And that's what Lou Pearlman is willing and able to pay. Yeah. So my view on all of that, I mean, I'm not sure about all the allegations and whatnot, but I do know that he did make them famous, and they would not be where they are today without him. Yeah, so that's the end of the statement.
Kind of pace.
That's the beginning and the end of the statement. Yeah, I mean, for real, it's that serious.
Right. Yeah.
So you kind of like, you kind of have to think about like, where would they be without that money?
Right.
Without that push, without that Max Martin single.
Yeah.
Where would Britney be without Baby One More Time, Baby
One More Time.
And she was also a part of that camp as well.
I didn't know that.
She was in Innocence, who was on tour. Yeah. We actually toured with Innocence every now and then.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So rad.
And I got to party with Justin Timberlake's mom.
What?
Backstage.
Okay.
Britney toured. Yeah, she had cornrows. It was the weirdest thing in the world.
I love it. Tell me stories. Tell them.
She just reminded me of like the mean girl mom, whatever you guys want, I'm not going to say anything.
The plastic butt.
With the cornrows, just like this white woman, like with a country drawl. Whatever you guys want, whatever, we got it for you right here.
Yeah, man.
She's great.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. Where does time go? Like, it's literally, we have a couple minutes. I want to go off like 5 minutes. I don't give a shit.
It's fine.
Because it's family, bro. It's family time.
We're family now. Yeah.
So you also, you've done your acting. Oh, Mike Myers, Austin Powers. You part of that? What was that even like, dude? Like, Mike Myers is fantastic.
Working with Mike Myers in the movie Austin Powers. Yeah. We were in the part of the original sequence, the fussy routine. That was really fun.
Yeah.
I think Mike Myers is kind of different than what you might think he is. He's really kind of a quiet guy.
Yeah. But he comes on when he's turned on. He's turned on.
Oh yeah, when the camera comes on, he comes on.
Yeah.
And that was a wonderful experience. I wore I'm the guy in the middle of the video wearing
I saw that
an orange sweater.
Yeah.
When I really pop out in that video with that orange, I'm like, yeah, I want to wear orange.
You know what's that? Like the common thread, you pop out in everything. It's crazy. Like I want the guy with the boy with the black hair.
Yeah.
I want this guy. It's always you. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, back then. Yeah, well, even now, I guess it's the same thing. Yeah, it's just that kind of thing where
it's that energy, man. You put it out there, it's happened. Are you into some like metaphysical stuff, like manifestation? You know, all of us to some degree, we whatever we put out, we get back, and that sort of thing. And if you're positive, you know, positivity happens. You have like a vision board at home? Have you been into any kind of stuff like that, or?
I used to. I think when I was a child, I was a little more religious. Now. I don't. It's a great question. I honestly I don't do any vision boards or things like that because I get too depressed when they don't happen right away.
Why don't you just
I'm
turn
too
the
impatient. And I had a vision board and I put it under my bed for that reason because I never wanted to see it again. And it had you know who was going to be my wife. It was going to be. Oh my God.
Okay, I know who.
No, you don't.
It's the girl in the Pepsi commercial. We're in the 90s. What's her name? Cindy Crawford.
Oh my God, I wish. No, it was Elizabeth. Not Hurley. I had a big crush on Elizabeth Hurley.
Elizabeth, hold on.
No. It's Carmen Electra.
Oh, Dave Navarro's
she was supposed to be my wife according to my vision board. And I was supposed to have like all of this stuff, and I did get some of it, you know, but definitely not everything. So I'm like, screw that. I don't want to be a part of it.
Chuck it.
Chuck it all. Screw it. No, but for me, like I don't know. I just try to take things now with like what God wants for me and not like what I want for me.
Yeah.
Anymore.
So you say you make plans and God laughs.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? This is what I'm here. God, like use me if you want me to.
As a vessel.
Whatever you need me to do. If I'm only to be on this planet to be a father to my two cats, Willow and Max.
I love it.
You know, Ragdoll, whom I love. I always tell them I worship the love that made you, or Max the Maine Coon. I'm like, hey, if this is my life, like literally, if that's what God wants for me for the rest of my life. I mean, mind you, all of the things I've already accomplished and whatnot.
Come on, man.
But I'm still working. It's not like I don't like work, but I'm just like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah,
use me. And if you don't want to, that's fine too.
You're living proof of the American dream, testament of hard work, dedication, and a little bit of luck and God's guidance rudder, you know?
Yeah.
You've come this far.
Definitely God loves me for sure because like he gave me the cats. And that's the one reason I know, like honestly, that's so crazy to get that at
cats
my,
are
at my
intuitive,
age.
do you know that?
Yeah. They were brought into my life like little angels into my life. And I really believe like, I was just like, I stare at their eyes and I said, oh, God is he loves me.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Because I had forgotten a little bit, you know, because times get crazy, like with the lockdowns and the COVID and all of the division that we went through and all this stuff. I kind of forgot like,
you know,
just so much hatred in this world and so like fear, a lot of fear.
Ain't that the truth, man?
But now I'm just like, oh no. Like,
I feel like there's a rebirth, though. I feel like it's a renaissance. Like we're coming into like our best years are still ahead of us, man.
Yeah, it's called the golden age, apparently. So, you know, and at the end of the day, like the people who have a positive attitude on life are going to be experiencing the positive. They're going to see it more within their lives. You know, what we focus on is what's going to come forth.
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on the negative parts of your life, you're gonna experience that. And I have a show that I do every Friday. Okay. Shout out to Dr. Marissa Pay. Okay. We have a great show called Straight Talk. We do it every other Friday.
All right. Invite me on and I
have
my
YouTube.
Some stories for
you have to be there.
I got some crazy stories.
Oh, I bet you do. And she would love to chat with you. I'm going to hook you up with her. She's great. It's #1 talk in the IE. in Upland.
Oh, dude, I'm down.
It's great.
I'll go all the way to Riverside. Oh, no, wait. We could do it out of the comfort at home, right?
Yeah. Comfort of your own home. Or here. Yeah.
We could do it from here. Yeah.
So she talks to me about, she's a big...
Yeah, plug it in.
She's really into...
I want to hear all about it, yeah.
Yeah, she's really into the power of positive thinking, and she's... what do you call it? The Secret. She's
like Linda Byrne or Byrne or whatever, The Secret, the book and the movie.
Yeah.
She's all into like metaphysical stuff.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I'm very cautious with all that.
Yeah.
Because
it almost bleeds into darkness, the occult, right?
Well, no, just because sometimes I feel like I have tried really hard to be like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. This is going to be great. It's going to be great. Everything's wonderful.
But now you're pushing
and then all of a sudden you get hit by a truck. And that didn't quite work out the way I expected it to.
Should we end the show with that? It's funny. No. But you're right. You're watching.
We make plans and God laughs.
So. It's a matter of fact, that's exactly what this is. Like, I wasn't expecting like for us to have such a great exchange, such a great conversation. Guys, Ricky Rebel is in the house. You guys, make some noise. Yeah. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I've had kind of like I was giddy because I was talking to Juan. So I was like, dude, it's going to be fantastic. You guys are going to have just a great conversation. And here we are. And we manifested this. But it's also like it's meant to be. It's meant to happen just in the order. I agree. Because we were going to have another studio.
Because we didn't push.
And we didn't push. That's
the thing.
You got to go with the ebb and flow.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I really feel that way. If you have to push people to be like, do anything with you, after the third time, it's like, give it a break. It's not really supposed to be that way.
No, or else you're going to get hit by a
truck.
Or a freight train.
A freight train.
Guys, that's my show. Almost Famous, guys. Every week I bring you 2-3 shows. It says 4. I'm dropping this one the next couple days so that the entire weekend people are going to sit back and watch us, you and I, have this great conversation, this almost heart-to-heart conversation. In our family room almost. It just feels like we're regaling stories of your wonderful trajectory. I'm truly blessed to have you in my life, in my orbit, Ricky, and it goes without saying, you got to come back. We're going to grab a beer sometime. We're going to hang out soon. And Tequila Sunrise for sure. And you guys can catch him, and remember, he's going to get inducted to the American Entertainment Hall of Fame on April, let's see if I can find it, April 13, 2025 in Temecula, California.
That's right.
You're going to, it begs the question, are you going to go?
Oh my God, I need someone to help introduce me.
Okay.
I need someone.
I'm in.
Would you do that?
Yeah. I do it in a heartbeat.
Would you really?
Yeah.
You know it's in Temecula?
Fuck yeah. We'll drive up there. It's like wine country. I'll take my wife. Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me? Then talk about this was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen.
Because I needed someone. Yeah. And I believe you.
Energetic.
Yeah. You're
if
great.
I'm not energetic enough, come on, man. I mean, I don't know where you're going to find anybody more energetic. Oh, yeah. By the way, I did have like 4 Red Bulls.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm high on my energy drink there.
We're hopped up on life, the Felix family here. It's my great honor. I just don't want to close the show. It's almost 50 minutes. I never go like this far, but this length of over the show. But I just want to say your longevity speaks volumes of where you're at in terms of your craftsmanship as a musician. Your voice is so angelic. You're awesome. You embody multifaceted artist. You embody nothing but creativity and sensitivity. And these days you're all about making music that comes from the heart, and I couldn't be more prouder than you, prouder of you, and happier. And thank you so much for stopping by the show.
Thank you very much,
gentlemen. That's our show, Ricky Rebel. Take it away.